3, 2, 1, go!
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another podcast.
That sounds like ASMR, Jose. What the hell?
An ASMR podcast.
I want you all to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
Just be like, welcome to Nerd Legion. That sounds
I'm
like
Jose.
a weird... I'm Josh.
I'm Nathan.
Alright, so some stuff we're gonna go into today. We have some of the DC content for today. We got some more details of the Batman movie with Robert Pattinson, more details on the Flash cast got dropped, and we also got some stuff with Aquaman 2 since they're currently in pre-planning for that as well. For the Batman, what we recently got informed is that there's only going to be 5 or 6 scenes with Robert Pattinson's Batman in the Batman movie. Is that too short? Is that hardly any scenes at all with Robert Pattinson? Is there more than enough scenes with him in? What do you guys think?
Kind of sounds illogical, to be honest.
You would want to see more Batman, right?
You're not going to have a Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man in it.
So, okay, but here's my question, right? Like 5 can still be technically a lot, right? Because maybe he might have just 5 scenes as being the Batman, right? But it could be long scenes. We'll see. It might be like a car chase, a whole car chase, and he's like chasing goons and stuff like that. We're being introduced to this new Batman, which is Robert Pattinson, and I want to really see how he plays both Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah,
right? I think they're very core. Those are two different characters. I want to see how he does it.
I mean, yeah, that's one way to look about it. Like, you only have like 5 or 6 scenes with the Batman. With Robert Pattinson getting up in the suit, but then you also have the Bruce Wayne scenes. They didn't clarify how many Bruce Wayne scenes are going to be, or there's going to be a total of like 6 Bruce Wayne scenes, mixed Batman scenes, and then you might only get Batman show up in the end, kind of like how Daredevil did it. They kind of teased Daredevil, but didn't show his actual costume until like the finale episode.
Oh, that's true.
You think we'll get to see the scene that we've never seen before involving the death of Bruce's parents?
How many times have we seen that?
Oh, no, we've never seen it. We've
never seen that.
Seen it, have we? No?
Oh, yeah, like kind of like how Uncle Ben died in like every single
yeah.
film like ever. It's like, oh, I've never seen that death at all in my life. It's like the second you see the Martha's pearl necklace drops on the floor, you're like, here we go again.
Didn't they do that in the ending of Joker, too, where they had the death of...
Yep.
Yeah.
They did.
Why? It's about the Joker, not about Batman.
I'm guessing they're trying to like set
it's,
themselves up for the Batman movie, hence why I'm starting to wonder... Go.
Is this Batman going to be connected to Joaquin Phoenix's Joker?
That's what I was going to say, because with Robert Pattinson and then you have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, I think the way they set that up, it's a good way to tell a story through that front of like, one of the Joker's henchmen killed one of the parents, hence why they gives Batman the motivation that he doesn't like clowns, and hence giving him motivation to kill the Joker. Which is interesting.
He doesn't want to kill the Joker. He wants to help him.
Yeah, call me devil's advocate on this, but I don't think anyone that's killed somebody is redeemed unless they've been mind controlled or literally been like emotionally fucked. Then that's a different story. But I think for those kind of characters that just does it for lulz, they're irredeemable at this point.
Not to step on what you said, but that's what the whole storyline with Jason Todd happened, right? He was just tortured, right, and killed, and then revived back, and then Jason went after Bruce, saying, why the hell is he still alive, right? So that whole thing is attacking Bruce's morale.
That's why I respect Red Hood more than Batman, because it's like, Joker has killed enough people, and you keep doing the same shit to try to get him help, but he's not going to do it. Like, once his mindset's already set in his ways, he ain't gonna change.
There's two movies that are really important. That one with Jason Todd, The Red Hood, and then the other one was The Killing Joke.
That's a good one.
It's a good one, and it really shows how, in the end, Batman really was like, "I can help you," and Joker was like, "No, I can't be helped."
You'll just turn it off when I'm halfway across.
I thought that I still tell that joke to this day. I think it's interesting. It's an interesting mindset.
Okay, here's the thing. Like, when I saw the Killing Joke movie, I literally thought the whole thing was a complete waste of time. For one, they tried to sexualize Batgirl. Didn't work.
Yeah.
They tried to, like... they tried to have a sex scene with Batgirl and Bruce Wayne. That didn't work. It looked really awkward and forced. Then you have the Killing Joke scene where I didn't really fully understand the joke. Like, I try to, like, look up, like, YouTube videos of what Joker actually mean through that joke. But even then, I still didn't fully, like, get the premise of where he was going for.
You're triggering me so hard right now. Like, my DC fandom is coming out. And I'm like, what did you say? I can explain it all. I promise. Like,
you can explain it to me after the podcast if I still don't fully get the concept.
I can explain it.
Okay, feel free. Let it out. Like, what is it about the joke am I not getting?
Okay.
It's been a while since I've watched it myself, but I'll let Jose have the reins on this one.
Sorry, yeah, I'm not trying to do anything, Josh. I'm just
No, I know.
It's like I'm having a tick. I'm just like, I can explain it, Josh. Just let me explain.
He has a nervous tick.
Explain the joke. Holy shit, bro. Calm down.
No, okay. So the movie it's supposed to be one of the darker elements of, like, just it's just a very dark story, you know, the whole movie. It shows how flawed and how messed up Bruce is, right? To the point that he has sex with Batgirl. To the point in the comics, he impregnates Batgirl, right? So, and that's a thing. So, and she loses the baby, right? And then she gets crippled by the Joker, and it insinuates rape, unfortunately, right? In that whole thing. So, and it's a very dark story. So the joke.
It is.
Yeah. So the joke, I got it in this way. So the whole joke, right? So, and you've heard it. At the end, just for the audience that don't know, at the end of the joke, basically it was, you know what? I would say really quickly, but like a loose version. There's two people in an asylum. They had everything, and then one day they got bored, wanted to get out, so they went to the roof. They see a roof that is nearby, so so one of them jumps to that roof. The other one is scared. Is like, no way, I can't. And then the one that did it, he was like, I know, I got a flashlight. I'll just beam a light across, and you can get across. And then the one that's scared, he's like, are you crazy? You're just gonna turn it off once I step foot on it. Right? So the idea behind it is two crazy people trying to help each other, but ultimately not going to be able to help each other. In this way, it's saying Batman is trying to help Joker, but Batman's almost as messed up as Joker. You know? Or just as much as messed up,
like
in a way.
Mind fucked a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It's saying, like, there's nothing he can do.
And then there's an implication in the movie and in the comic where they think that either Batman killed Joker or Joker died laughing. Because if you notice in the movie, both Batman and Joker are laughing at the joke, and then Joker's laughter stops and Batman is the only one laughing.
Yeah. See, there's so many the writers of DC, the way they make up Joker, it's like, doesn't matter what, like in other universes, it doesn't matter if Batman does kill the Joker. It seems that there's always something that will happen. There will be a negative effect from that, right? So one of my favorite stories that was very recent, and a few years ago, was the Dark Metal, I think, DC Metal, sorry. and it's basically all these different versions of Batman come from like the dark multiverse, and because one of them killed the Joker, and he just became so evil. Became evil Bruce Wayne, and Batman and Joker combined. Like it was all like messed up. So in that comic, it was so cool because in order to defeat that version of Batman, Joker and Batman had to team up to fight him. It was really cool.
Wow.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay, well, now that you explained
spoiler
the joke,
alert.
Okay, well, now that you explained the joke, I get why Joker said it. It's just the fact that, like, the way the joke was presented, I didn't really fully understand where it was going for. Maybe it, like, flew over my head. Maybe I'm not psychotically smart to, like, know exactly what it meant from a psycho. But still. But apparently
What are you saying,
did.
Josh? Am I a little?
Well, okay, here's the
I
thing.
need a psych ward.
Okay.
Okay, hold up. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when we were in Hamilton, Jose, when you
okay.
when you talked to me about the joke, you explained to me the details about that joke, and when that was going on, you then said to yourself, being like, "Wow, this that because Joker is a bit psychotic and like being like a little crazy. He's like, you then said to yourself to me, being like, maybe I'm a little crazy for getting that."
Oh my God! No way! I did not say
Dude,
that.
I can recall that to this day. You still be like, that is the funniest joke I've ever heard. I'm like, dude, I still fully get the joke.
Show me a video,
just
or
wanna-
it never happened.
So just want to clarify. We were in Hamilton, the city, and not Hamilton, the musical.
I wish, guys. I wish.
I'm not throwing away my shot.
Anyways,
Honestly, that joke, like to your point, I totally understand why it flew over your head. Like it flew out over my head, like a few times. I had to repeat it to myself. Actually, that joke because I didn't get it. Because I didn't get it at all. The analogy right away because I took it at face value as a joke, and then Joker starts laughing, and then Batman starts laughing. I'm like, why are they laughing? I don't get it.
That's
And then
exactly
I had to
what I
really,
did.
Like, repeat it.
I think I understood it once I realized like how similar Batman and the Joker are. They're like two heads of a coin. They're very similar dynamic because both have suffered from trauma, right? Batman with the traumatic experience of losing both his parents when he was a young kid and everything that happened to him after, and Joker through his own traumatic experiences, right? Joker turned into a crazed lunatic. Batman instead decided to do what he felt was right.
and that's through
help.
geez, I can't pronounce this word. Rehabilitation.
Yeah.
It's so
And it's this whole thing with Batman doesn't want to kill because he knows if he does, he may never come back. He would turn into the very thing that he fights so hard against.
and
So-
that's the prime example with the movies with Christian Bale, right? Like it was such a the second movie was such a good movie of depicting the relationship between Batman and Joker that Joker is stubborn and wants to show that everybody is not good and evil, and there's evil in them. So you just give them a nice push, and in the wrong direction, they're going to crumble. It's that easy. And then here's
Yeah.
Batman being like, no, everybody's redeemable, and it's possible for them to be redeemed. And you can be redeemed too. So it's this colliding philosophy that Joker wants to even turn Batman into breaking his one rule, which is killing, right? And then Batman doesn't want to kill him ever and wants to instead help him and prove to him that he can be good. So it's just terrible.
And again, to
combination.
bring up Jason Todd and Red Hood, right? He basically calls Batman out on this. It's like, think of all the people you could save if you just kill Joker,
Just one person.
right? But Batman won't do it.
Which is, yeah, that's a problem. I acknowledge, even as a fan of Batman, that is a problem. That do I Do I agree with his philosophy in killing Joker? Even me, I don't agree on
To a
killing
certain
him, but
extent, I agree with Batman wholeheartedly. But it's like at some point, for the greater good, in order to save like everyone else, if the one person is just completely irredeemable, you can't save him. He's just gonna kill and destroy. It's like you gotta, you might need to kill him,
or
right?
lock
It
him up
just
forever,
lock
or
him up
some.
forever, throw away the key, right? Which I think Batman would rather do. He'd rather lock him up than kill him, right? Rather than give him the satisfaction. But yeah, I don't know.
Man, but but to the movie, the Batman, it's definitely going to be interesting of how this is going to go. The villain is not the Joker, obviously. It's going to be the Riddler, and I'm very excited for that. Because there's going to be puzzles, right? There's going to be, and the way, if you look at the trailer, the way that I felt watching the trailer was, it made Gotham City look small, like it's a close community, but it feels so small, like everything's so confined. If and it, I don't know, it's the way it's shot. I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be a very psychological thing, detective kind of movie for sure, and I'm excited to see what they do.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a detective mystery crime solving. Also a little bit of a tension building in Gotham and with Bruce Wayne within himself. Because I think they're trying to focus on an inner conflict being like, is Bruce Wayne able to handle the mantle as the masked vigilante? That's what I think they're trying to go for.
Yeah.
If Robert Pattinson does a very good job as a Batman, we can see many more films to come, right? And hopefully he lives and he's healthy throughout the rest of his life doing it, right? So, in the way in the, we're getting a younger version of Batman, right? So I and my hope is that we get to see this buildup of even Bruce Wayne, Batman, learning from himself and learning from his mistakes and getting better, because Batman wasn't he came from a place of anger, right? Losing his parents and hating the city and wanting to fix it, right? So it really, for him, I would love to see that part of Batman, Bruce Wayne, where he's getting better after, like, even getting all the Bat family together, even joining the Justice League eventually, getting I think he does go to therapy at one point. Like, I mean, he even Alfred giving him advice. It's just I would like to see that dynamic of Bruce with that inner turmoil of all his grief and just slowly accepting life.
Mm,
I'd like to see that.
yeah. Oh well, that's not going to be the only Batman we're going to be seeing, because apparently we're going to be seeing two more other Batmans in the Flash movie because their cast just dropped, and you end up seeing you have Michael Keaton coming back as one of the original Batmans, and showing up in the Flash movie, and then you have Ben Affleck also returning as the current DCEU's Batman in the Flash movie, and then you have the girl who played Iris West in the Justice League extended cut also returning. And then what's even rumored is that apparently Grant Gustin, who plays Flash in the Flash TV series, is also returning in the Flash movie. Because
Really?
yeah, it's rumored though. It's not confirmed, but it is being rumored heavily. I don't think he's going to be returning. That one's a bit of a stretch. I do think it was a shock that they managed to get Ezra Miller to return back as the DCEU Flash and Crisis of Infinite Earths in the TV series, but even then, that one was like that one no one expected. So I wouldn't be surprised if they threw Grant Gustin in the Flash movie, but I also will be kind of be like, well, at this point, we all know that the DC multiverse is already happening thanks to Crisis of Infinite Earths. So technically, DC beat them to it, but it was just too messy to figure out. I don't know how the Flash movie is going to work. I think it's rumored they're making the Flash Paradox movie. where they reset the timeline, like when Barry Allen goes back in time, to prevent his mother's death, but all of a sudden he notices the major repercussions in the timeline. Where you get Bruce Wayne died, and then you got the mother comes out as the Joker, and then the father comes out as Thomas Wayne as Batman. Then you got the Atlanteans and the Amazons go to war. Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of repercussions in the Flash movie. I've seen the cartoon version of it, and it's actually pretty intense. Yeah, they were teasing about. Let me look up. They were also teasing about Professor Zoom, the Reverse Flash coming back as the villain, which makes sense, but I don't know if he is gonna be the villain of the film, but it seems likely. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that film and to see what they do, because I mean, there's a reason why they waited so long, right? There's a reason, and the reason was to set up a new universe, and so let's see how they do it. I mean, this is supposed to, and it's similar how Loki was setting up the new phase of Marvel. I mean, I believe this movie will set up the new phase for DC.
Yeah, so here is all the actors and actresses returning. You got Ezra Miller as Barry Allen, Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne / Batman in an alternate timeline. You have Sasha Cal as Supergirl. She's going to be cameoing she's going to be starring as Supergirl in the Flash movie. You have Kersey Clemens as Iris West, who showed up in Justice League. You have Nora Allen, which is Barry Allen's mom. You have Ron Livingston as Barry Allen's dad, also returning. Not returning. That's his first appearance. But yeah, those are all the main characters. They didn't announce who the villain was, but the two things that are heavily rumored are Grant Gustin returning as Flash in the Flash TV series, and the Reverse Flash villain coming in as well. Like, at first I was like, okay, this cast isn't really that appealing. Like, I knew they were going to bring Ben Affleck back as Bruce Wayne, but the big ones that surprises me were Michael Keaton returning back as Bruce Wayne and Batman, and then you have Supergirl in the film as well. I'm like, why is Supergirl in a Flash movie?
I want to see that so bad. I want to see how they do that. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, in the animated version, it was regular Superman, right? But now they made it a female Superwoman at this case.
Supergirl is the cousin of Cal. He's apparently the older cousin.
Oh, really? They're gonna do. Sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that Kara Zor-El was actually a teen and Cal was a baby, but then when they both got into the pods, Kara got lost in orbit for a good 20 years until her pod finally landed on Earth. And then Cal became older, and now Kara is technically Kara is actually older than Kal-El, and she's supposed to be in her late 50s, but because she blasted off into orbit, she stopped aging. Yeah, that's what happened in Injustice 2. Yeah.
We need. When does this movie come out? In 2022?
I don't know why I don't know. They keep delaying it, but apparently it's scheduled for release for November 4th, 2022. And the film. Okay, so here's what's funny. So, so apparently, I'm reading this on Wikipedia, but
Development of the film based on The Flash began by 2004, with multiple writers and directors attached to the project through 2014. The film was redeveloped as part of the DCEU. So originally it wasn't going to be tied to the DCEU, but now it is, with Miller cast as the title. Then they went into pre-planning stages July 2019. Then they did more pre-production in January 2020, and they kept delaying it, and the film's not going to be released till 2022. But they did they did finally announce filming April 2021. Yeah.
So they're filming right now, basically.
So they're current. I think they're. I think. Because normally film sets take around 2 or 3 months to finish filming. So right now we're April. So we're in April, May, June, July. So either they're just wrapping up filming, or they're still or they're just still in the process of production.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that the Flash movie resets the timeline and just let Zack Snyder just have all the DC properties and let him create his own universe. Because when the Justice League film came out, the director's cut, that literally saved the DCEU. Zack Snyder saved the DCEU twice with the extended cut. Twice. First with Batman v Superman, and then Justice League. This is why you should just let Zack Snyder do his thing, and therefore we wouldn't be having these kind of messiness. Because now we have, thanks to the extended cut, we now have Aquaman that is coming out with a sequel. His character is now not tied in with the extended cut. You now have the Flash, who thanks to the extended cut, you can now make the Flash whatever you want at this point, either a confident character or a little bit of a someone who developed PTSD for traveling back in time the first time. You can literally do whatever you want with the Flash right now. So thanks to Zack Snyder, he kind of fixed it. But even then, it's what can you do from that point if you have characters already written up, but then you have other film directors who's in charge of The Conjuring? I forget the director's name.
His name was. Okay, hold on. He's directed by Andy Muschietti. He directed Aquaman, the first one. Aquaman, who is directed by James Wan. There you go. Yeah, James Wan, he directed The Conjuring. So when James Wan was directing Aquaman, he didn't know exactly what the Aquaman's character is, so he just went off of the Justice League Joss Whedon version. Had he actually got the extended cut first, he would have actually had a lot more material to work with. But that's kind of hard to deal with. And now we're going to be looking into the sequel for Aquaman. James Wan reprising his director role for Aquaman 2 Lost at Sea. But then we got this bag of shit. You have Amber Heard as Mira. Now all of a sudden, fans are trying to boycott the film before it's even done filming. That they're still signing over Johnny Depp with Amber Heard's abusive allegations towards Johnny Depp, even though you have audio recordings that literally state otherwise. But what do you think? Is it because of what is going on with her personal life that's interfering with people going to see Aquaman 2?
That and the fact that Johnny Depp was forced to step down from his role in Fantastic Beasts, and yet Amber Heard is still being allowed to be successful and play her role for WB, even though she's involved in the same exact case. So this whole double standard, I think, is another thing that's gotten people up in arms. Personally, I don't respect her for what she's done, for what she's doing. I think in order for it to be fair, she should step down from her role as well.
It's tough. It's a lot of everything's a mess. Everything's a mess. I can imagine that Warner Brothers doesn't know what to properly do because they want to look good to the media. So they go by what the court is, right? They went through the court ruling, and I mean, they went by what their their overrule was. Their you know, and I think if they felt they were against that, I'm sure they would have gotten scrutiny and the other side. Now, that being said, I think it was like a double-edged sword because it doesn't matter what they did. I don't think anybody would have been happy. I mean, I would have not been happy with this outcome either. Like this outcome that's going on right now, I'm not happy about that.
But I think the only way they could have avoided scrutiny was to, if they were going to make Johnny Depp step down, make Amber Heard step down as well. That way, at least the people who are against Johnny Depp because they think he's guilty, they're like, okay, good, he's been removed from the project. And the people who are upset with Amber Heard, it's like, good, she's been removed from her project. It's like, I think the best way to move forward is to remove them both from these projects until this whole thing is officially settled.
Yeah, like I think what they should have done is delayed Aquaman 2 because they're really in no rush to make a sequel. They really are in no rush.
Well, the only rush is money, so.
Yeah, true. But also the fact that like you got the actors and actresses life you have their acting careers at risk, right? So you really don't know what is going on within their personal lives, and hence why it could like fans will understand what is going on like outside of it, like it's all over the media on what is going on their life. Everything's out in the open. They have audio recordings. Whatever you decide, if Johnny Depp is guilty or Amber Heard is guilty, that's for your own depiction on how you believe which one is right. But it's where you need to like either settle this privately or you either just don't mention it at all, because when you have a high profile like movie franchise like DC EU and Aquaman, that's when you're gonna be like, well, shit. One of my lead roles is currently in deep shit right now, and we either need to recast or move on. I think they should have just recast her, to be honest.
Well, they've already done that. They've already done that to Johnny Depp, so.
Oh, by the way, so Johnny Depp got I think about a $6 million bail, something like that or no, it was 10 mil. He got 10 mil to back away from the project, something like that. The new guy, and I love him. I forget his name though. I'm gonna look him up again. He's being offered $500,000 to play the role. He accepted that money, but and he also went as far. That new actor, he went as far as to say he would love to get in touch with Johnny because he does feel really bad for what happened, and he feels like he should approach him because I think, and I understand because it's like mutual respect is saying like maybe he's probably feeling from one actor to another. He didn't want to take this lead role away from somebody as great as him, So, but and even though he's honored, he's still sad for what happened, right? So, it's just a very messy situation. I personally do not have hope for DC at this time. I don't have hope for the direction that they're going. I don't see a universe, personally. I see just individual movies that are they're loosely connected but not fully connected, right? So it's clear to me at this point in the game that they've really lost the race. Like they're way behind, especially against Marvel. And Marvel has been doing it for years. They built it up for years, and now they're moving on to a new phase that's even bigger than their last one. It's huge. So there's no
I
way for them to
do
catch up.
I do kind of have a hot take about Amber Heard though, and it's something that I think needs to be said. I think it's probably something that has been said, but it's definitely something that needs to be said and repeated. Is that Amber Heard has thoroughly, I think, destroyed the Me Too movement because she's literally taken the Me Too movement, used it to her advantage, like profited off of it, and like basically used it to destroy Johnny Depp's career and like boost her own.
See, I don't think she used the Me Too movement as more so in a way to end Johnny Depp's career. I don't think it's really that. I think like she probably
It's an unfortunate symptom because here's the thing with the Me Too movement is that I see this all the time. People are like, believe all women. It's like, no, you shouldn't believe all women. You should listen to both sides of the story because what can happen is that literally anybody can be accused of sexual assault and they could be innocent, but they can have their entire lives or careers completely destroyed. And the other thing is too is that if a case like that is false, it puts the whole movement into jeopardy.
no, no.
It makes every person who's a victim of sexual assault or anything of that look terrible for
No,
coming out, right?
no. I get what you're saying on like the double standard on that. Like I get
There
it.
is a
Like,
double standard, yeah.
yeah. Which I get that. It's just the fact that like the whole like I don't think the Me Too movement, like I don't think Amber Heard used the Me Too movement as a way to get herself ahead, or more so put Johnny Depp's career at risk. I think there's a fact that that there's a communication issue between both sides, and hence why but I think the way that Amber Heard is going about Johnny Depp that way is a little more aggressive in nature. I do think that Amber is more so um lacking a bit of emotional intelligence towards Johnny Depp because I think Johnny Depp is actually a very genuine person. I do not think he's that much of a dick. But then at the same time, you really don't know what is going on behind closed doors, right? So it's
Yeah.
like it's just one of those things where it's like it should have been held privately, but because now it's so all out in the open, people are more so picking aside Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Do I think this whole thing is a publicity stunt? It was in the back of my mind at first, but this thing has gone too far to make this a publicity stunt. Um, but but the way that I see it is that the evidence is already out there. They already have a court they already have their court dates. They already have the ruling towards it. I think Johnny Depp got his position back as Jack Sparrow. Correct me if I'm wrong. Last time I checked.
No,
No.
no, no. Disney dropped him like a rock.
Okay.
What you
Okay.
might have been seeing was the Sea of Thieves DLC that's coming out.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's why.
it's
Okay. Never
yeah,
mind.
it's
Never
getting
mind.
it's getting Captain Jack Sparrow, which comes out at a really unfortunate like timing with everything, but I think it's kind of a way of saying to Disney, yeah, you guys screwed up. Um, but again, I have to say, like Warner Brothers is unfortunately thrown right into the middle of the conflict between Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
Which it isn't really their fault. Like,
No, it's not. It's just they're in an unfortunate position.
yeah, for sure. And that's not really their fault. The only really major mistakes they made was interfering films like Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, and now Justice League. They should not have interfered with those films. They should have just let them done the way they done it. But because they're now thrown into a wolves with another situation, Warner Brothers is like, I feel bad for them in that regard because because now they were just handing them a pile of shit and they have to clean it. But there isn't much they can do about
I
it.
feel I feel like throughout the time that we've done this not only this podcast, but the other ones too, I just thinking back to it, we have shit talked about DC up, left, like left and right. Like it's just, but and rightfully so. Like I mean, it's important that everybody understands and knows that in an industry that's very difficult. I'm personally, even being a DC fan, very disappointed in the directions and how DC has handled their properties for live action. I know their other properties are good. Their animation is good. Their cartoons is great. You know, their comics are thriving, but it's the live action that it's really not doing good. They have they have good properties. Harry Potter being one, and then they tried to revive it with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. It's just, and you guys are right. They were caught in the center of all of this, where Johnny, like with the two of their properties, you know, now in the tanks, and especially their leading actors, Johnny Depp, who is in part of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and Amber Heard, part of the DC universe. It's just not a good situation.
That's why, again, I reiterate, it's like if you're going to cut ties with one of them, you might as well cut ties with both. Don't pick and choose, because otherwise what they've ended up doing, like we've seen, is that they've cut Johnny, but they've kept Amber, and people are more pissed off at Amber because of the other things that have come out. Like the allegations against her. So, again, when those allegations came out, if they're going to be like, oh, we'll drop Johnny because there's allegations against him and we want to support Amber because that's not right, but now that it's coming out that she was abusive towards him, it's like, oh, we're going to keep supporting her. It's like, no. Drop her like a rock, because all you're doing is you're digging yourselves deeper and deeper into that rabbit hole. And it's like they need to step back from the situation and just let the court proceedings go forth without them getting their I guess their hands dirty, right? Their hands are already dirty by association, but if they cut ties with both of the people involved in that situation, they're kind of saying, okay, we have nothing to do with this. We'll see you later, bye. Once this is all said and done. But
right, it really, I think we have to be in this mindset with DC at this point that, I mean, they're never gonna they got to find their own unique way into the industry that is not Marvel, right? It's not Marvel, and I know they've been struggling for a long time. I'm excited to see with the merger with Discovery what they do next. It's because to me the key here is the leaders, are the higher ups, the heads of DC, right? And all its properties. So it all depends on them what they do and how they do things, right?
They need to take Marvel's approach to how they set up a universe the way that they are, is to set these characters up on their own stories, develop them into. I'm not saying they have to do it in that exact same style, but like clearly Zack Snyder knows what he's doing. So going off of what Josh said, it's like let him have more creative involvement with setting these characters up and then bring them together, because you can't start with a team up movie, because if we don't care about the characters individually, we're not going to care if they succeed or fail, right?
Mm-hmm. I really feel like at this point, just in my opinion, I think they need to go in a different direction that is unique to them. And I think if they continue to try to copy what Marvel's doing, they will continue to fail. And because I want them to succeed. Oh, I want them to succeed, and I want them to do well. But they need to be unique in themselves, and they have properties that are very good. So
yeah,
but we'll see.
Here's the thing. We all know that DC is all over the place with their extended universe. They have no idea where to go with it. You already have their main actors literally dropping out of their projects. Like you have Henry Cavill, like thinking about dropping out. You have Ben Affleck, Will Smith thinking about dropping out. You have
Well, he dropped out completely from Suicide.
yeah. You have Gal Gadot. She's thinking about dropping out because of what happened with Joss Whedon. Ray Fisher's thinking about dropping out. Like you all, like basically everything that happened with Justice League was pretty much the final death. Well, was literally the final nail in the coffin. But all Zack Snyder did was literally just took the nail off, but the damage was already done from that. So the only way that DC is able to refix all of this is with the Flash movie, and hence creating a reset in the timeline. You can keep all your best characters, but you're also taking an X-Men Days of Futures Past route where you're fixing the timeline, but then you're also starting over again. I mean, I'd rather have them just reboot the franchise entirely. Like, I think we already talked about this too.
I don't know if the situation is improved because of the existence of like HBO Max, right? Like their streaming service. But can I just say, trying to follow what the whole Crisis of Infinite Earths was with that whole entire crossover with all those shows was a giant mess, giant convoluted mess, because you've got The Flash is on Netflix, Supergirl is on Netflix, Arrow was on Netflix, but it got taken off. Basically, all those shows are tied to different streaming services, and it's like, how am I supposed to follow this? Marvel is so much easier to follow because not only now are all those movies on Disney Plus, but all those shows are as well, and well, they're new shows anyway. But it's so much easier to follow because the characters are played by the same actors, unless it's a different medium altogether. But every actor in the MCU, minus Terrence Howard, stays the same throughout, right? So
yeah, I fully agree with that. I think the only way that DC can bounce from this is they just reset the time. They just do a reboot in the franchise and start over, because that's the only way they
and
can save it.
and bring Zack Snyder on.
And
well,
go on.
I was just gonna say real quick with it all depends on Zach, right? Because the poor guy has tried. Like he's made Watchmen. He's made I think 300 is part of Warner Brothers as well. I don't know. And he's honestly he's done a lot, in my opinion, as a director. And I really love the guy as a director. He's awesome based on the interviews I've seen. He's funny. But ultimately, even if Warner Brothers were to beg for him, I don't even blame him at this point to say no, because I feel like there's so much damage that's been done and bridges have been burnt. I don't know, man. It's Zack Snyder has gone so far as to even kind of say, like, lingering into the idea that he would love to join the MCU as a director. Like, he's lingered to that. So he's looking at their competitors, man.
Yeah. I think like
You almost think his talents would be better spent on the MCU than on the DCEU.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
You know what? I think I'd be very interested in seeing what Zack Snyder would come up with a Marvel project.
Probably more on the darker end. Like, maybe he could co-write Doctor Strange.
I'm a fan of like those dark muted tone. Like he has like a very bright dark. It's a weird balance, but I like the way he edits his stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I like the way that he color schemes things.
Yeah, like I like Zack Snyder's color scheming too, because that's what I would do if I was on an editing team for like a dark film, because you're looking for an undertone where you want people to like fully connect to the audience through the visuals, right? And you can tell Zack Snyder has those visuals. It's just like when you don't give him full range and you let studios interfere, that's when you get this massive mess in
the DC EU, and hence why we now have issues where we have a bunch of films supposed to come out that we don't know where it's going. There have been talks about a Green Lantern Corps movie with Hal Jordan again coming out in 20 like they were supposed to have a Green Lantern Corps movie coming out by 2020, and we're in 2021 now. So where is it?
Hey, sorry guys. I would like to the audience. I just want to say, like, it sounds depressing. It sounds sad, sure, but in this, but in the end of the day, especially for myself, I mean, as much as positivity as I want to put into the DC and be like, oh, they'll do it. You know, it's not that I'm losing hope, but my confidence in them is dwindling very, very low. I'm like near empty gas for them. But because at this point, I'm just desperate in my mind for them to go another direction. So if you guys hear us just talking about how crappy everything is with DC, it's just a reality of how it is, with them, unfortunately.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that other film franchises haven't done bad either. Like you have Fox that literally ruined the X-Men. You have and the Fantastic Four. You have Lucasfilms ruin the Star Wars prequels, and they're literally trying to save it with the spin-offs. But it's the damage is already the damage is already done. All you have to do is just accept it and move on. The only thing that could actually fix itself with the DCEU is that all Warner Brothers has to do is make a statement being like, we fucked up. We're rebooting the franchise and we're trying again. That's the only way they can earn fans' respect back. Now, I'm thanks to the Zack Snyder extended cut with Justice League, I'm willing to give the Flash movie a shot. If the Flash movie fails and doesn't reboot the timeline, I'm done with the DC extended films. I was already done with that after Aquaman 2, but then correction. I was done with it after Shazam because I thought Shazam was funny, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I'll take Shazam as what it is. It's not bad. But after the director's cut, if the Flash movie doesn't fix it, I'm done.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. For real.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I know you're a huge fan of the DC properties and the comics, but we all know that DC keeps shitting the bed in the movie property of things. But on the TV side of things, it's okay. Now it's going in a shitty direction. And also the games are doing better than the Marvel games, so at least you have that. That doesn't mean DC as a whole is shit. I'm just saying Warner Brothers is doing a shitty job at keeping the films going. So it's the studio to blame for not the brand.
It's look, I gotta say this though. The fact that Marvel has done a very good job at actors is unpredictable. Having actors that play roles and there's no guarantee they're gonna last the 10 years. For their contracts. There's no guarantee. They got lucky with Chadwick Boseman and how long he was able to live to make the movies that he did for Black Panther.
100%.
But but the way they handle it, they got a handle on it really early on. Even let's say here, even early on in the MCU, they wanted to work it so bad that some actors that left and then didn't want to join the MCU, they were like, there's no problem, we'll just replace them real quick, and just act like nothing happened. So War Machine.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, which part of me even I know we talked about this earlier, but part of me wishes they would have just replaced Chadwick Boseman with another actor, because his reasoning is actually understandable because the actor died. So there isn't much like we can do about it. Like I get
No,
they do not
but
want to
like
sorry.
you can't predict something like that though. That's the only thing. Like it's one of those things that's only possible in hindsight. Is like, oh, they shouldn't have picked Chadwick because he died. And it's like they couldn't have predicted that he would die in the year 2020 after they cast him in Civil War, right? They didn't know that.
Exactly.
That's like, I don't know. That's like saying they shouldn't have let Stan Lee like help kickstart Marvel if he was going to die in the year 2018. Like, what kind of logic is that? I don't know. I get what he's saying, but it's like you can't predict when actors are going to die. They can die literally at any time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's hard about that, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in for this episode of Nerd Legion. I'm Josh.
I'm Jose.
I'm Nathan. And there are sirens in the background.
Wheel, wheel, wheel.
Oh,
help, guys.
And on that, we will see you in the next video. Bye.
See ya.
See ya. Take care.